All right, Shalom. Kahalayamla, Yahweh Bashim, Shaba, Shimra Kakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone, who rule and teach well. Must peace, love, and salutations to all you brothers doing this work in truth and in sincerity of heart. I say Shalom. This is the young brother Batak, back again through the spirit with another lesson. Lord willing, it's edifying. Now, I was just, harping on, through the spirit. I was just thinking about a lesson that I could possibly, prepare for, the weekly lessons. And, the first precept that popped in my head was Psalms 94 and 20, because Esau is making mischief the law. That's what he's doing with America. In America, mischief is the law, like it says, like Alice Carley said, do as thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. And what is that? Do as thou wilt is what? Wickedness. Let's go to that word mischief in the etymology dictionary. It says evil condition, misfortune, hardship. Because right now what we are in an evil condition because of what the sins that our people refuse to leave. And it's also according to prophecy why we are in this condition. It says misfortune, what? We're in poverty. We are at the bottom of the totem pole, We as a people, we are unfortunate. We are suffering from poverty and hardship. It says need, want, wickedness, wrongdoing, evil. So Esau is making mischief, which is wickedness and wrongdoing, the whole of the law. And it starts and ends with the charagma. Well, it's already started, but it's going to end with the charagma, which is the MOTB. What is Esau going to force upon the masses of people under the penalties of death? Now it says meaning, harm or evil considered as the work of some agent or due to some cause. So Esau is causing evil to be pushed in the earth, and ultimately to complete it, to seal the deal, he is going to come with this charagma. So let's get right into it. This is the book of Psalms chapter 94, which this whole chapter is very good. I'm going to read verse 1 and then I'm going to jump down to the point. This is Psalms 94 and 1. O Yahweh, power, to whom vengeance belongeth. O power, to whom vengeance belongeth. Shew thyself, because the Lord is going to show himself in these last days. He's going to manifest himself because, Yahweh Shai is going to crack them skies and he is going to return and execute judgment upon Esau, Edom, who is attempting to establish a system of complete slavery, and Yahweh Shai is going to come and is going to interrupt his plans because the only kingdom that's going to be, complete, everybody's going to be under complete subjection and complete slavery on him, is going to be the kingdom of Yahweh Shai, the kingdom of Yasha Allah. Everybody's going to be slaves under them. But right now, Esau is trying to make everybody slaves under him and his financial system. So I read that because, the Lord is going to arise and he's going to execute vengeance. In Psalms 94 and verse 20, which is the point, it says, shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by law? And that's exactly what he's doing. He's going to make it a law that if you do not take his MOTB, if you do not follow his rules, his guidelines, he will try to put you to death. And he already has laws in the books, executive orders that he's already passed and are in the books that just in case these type situations happen, these devils already has it written down. They already have it in play. So they already framing mischief by law. The Patriot Act, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it makes let's look it up. Hold on. I'm doing this a little raw. Forgive me. I didn't really have this, prepared, so I'm doing it raw. So forgive me. I have to find the exact, paragraph that I'm looking for. Okay, the Patriot Act. It says the Patriot Act was enacted following the September 11 attacks, which was set up, and the 2001 anthrax attacks, which was also set up, with the state goal of tightening U.S. national security, particularly as it is related to foreign terrorism. In general, the act included three main provisions: expanded expanded surveillance abilities of law enforcement, including by tapping domestic and international phones. That means they're watching you more, setting up more cameras. They can tap your phones. It says easier interagency communication to allow federal agencies to more effectively use all available resources in counterterrorism efforts. And it doesn't say nothing else after that. Okay, so easier interagency communication to allow federal agents to more effectively use all available resources in counterterrorism efforts. So if they deem you a terrorist, that these things can be used on you too. Increased penalties for terrorism crimes and an expanded list of activities which would qualify for terrorism charges. So these devils really can deem any damn thing terrorism. Because the very acts that we're doing, speaking against the government, is treason. And what can Esau do? He can leak treason up to terrorism. Oh, they're terrorists. They're a threat to the society. It says betrayal of trust, breach of faith. So that's like treason is like being a terrorist. It falls in the same category. Because if you're betraying America, then whose side are you on, so to speak? The betrayal of trust. Okay, treason, treachery, deliver, surrender. Let's see, I'm kind of looking through this. I'm about to type in something. Definition of treason: the crime of betraying one's country, especially by attempting to kill the sovereign or overthrow the government. They can say, oh, they're trying to overthrow the government. The action of betraying someone or something. Let me see. Treason. Treachery, betrayal, faithlessness, mutiny, rebellion, high treason. So this is something that we have to consider. And it's another act. I think it's the National Security Act or something like that. Let me see. Let me skim through this a little bit. It says, let's go back. Everybody is considered a terrorist. I cannot remember the name of the. It might be this. Okay, this is dated February 7th, 2022. It's at 2 p.m. It says national terror. It's summary of terrorism threat to the U.S. homeland. Forgive me. I'm just kind of reading through some of this information, trying to pick out the bones that's relative to my topic. So if you would please bear with me. I'm gonna just read a little bit of this. Hopefully at least it'll be some. Okay, it says the United States remains in a heightened threat environment fueled by several factors, including an online environment filled with false or misleading narratives and conspiracy theories. Now that lets you know that they're trying to, because they consider certain misinformation to be conspiracy theories. It says in other forms of mis, dis, and malinformation, MDM, included and slash or amplified by foreign and domestic threat actors. These threat actors seek to exacerbate social friction, to soil discord, and undermine public trust in government and institutions, to encourage unrest, which could potentially inspire acts of violence. Now we, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shah, actually we bring the truth about what the American government is doing and the future of America and how America's going to be destroyed. These things can stir people up, man, because this word, hey, when Paul spoke, man, fights broke out, because this word is very powerful. This word will cut you to the core. Okay, it says, and it can incite violence, man. Because leading off the example that I just made, how when Paul preached it, and it caused friction between people. It caused friction. It caused fights to break out. Disagreements. Because this word is powerful, man. It's very powerful, man. Okay, we don't excite violence. We don't tell people to go out and do this and do that. Go do this, go that. We don't excite violence. It says mass casualty attacks and other acts of targeted violence conducted by lone offenders and small groups acting in furtherance of ideological beliefs. Now, who would they be talking about there? And slash or personal grievances pose an ongoing threat to the nation, while the conditions underlying the heightened threat landscape have not significantly changed over the last year. The convergence of the following factors has increased the validity and unpredictability and complexity of the threat environment. The proliferation of false or misleading narratives which sow discord or undermine public trust in U.S. government institutions. Continued calls for violence directed at U.S. critical infrastructure, soft targets, and mass gatherings. Faith-based institutions such as churches, synagogues, and mosques, because you be having a lot of those things, these false flag attacks be targeting certain areas and certain buildings and synagogues, and things like that be happening because Esau set it up to happen, so he can roll on us. It says intuitions of higher education, racial and religious minorities. Who could that be talking about? Because we are right in these devil's scope, man. They got their eyes on us. They see. It says government facilities and personnel, including law enforcement and the military, the media, and perceived ideological opponents, and caused by foreign terrorist organizations for attacks on the United States based on recent events. And of course these devils gonna make up lies. We just tell you that America's gonna be destroyed by fire, and Russia and China and these other nations are gonna come up against America. Okay, it's a lot of information on this. Key factors contribute to the current heightened threat environment include the proliferation of false or misleading narratives, which so described. They said that many times. They said, for example, there is a widespread online proliferation of false or misleading narratives regarding unsubstantiated widespread election fraud and COVID-19 grievances associated with them. These themes inspired violent terror extremist attacks during 2021. Mainline foreign powers have and continue to amplify these false or misleading narratives in efforts to damage the United States. So they're talking about the CV-19 because, hey, you know what these devils don't realize, man, is people are waking up to their bullshit, man. People are waking up to their bullshit, and that is on their website. Domestic terrorism. It says violent criminal acts committed by individuals and/or groups to further ideological goals stemming from domestic influences, such as those of a political, religious, social, racial, or environmental nature. So that example with domestic terrorism. I believe it's called the National Something Act. Let me see. I'm not gonna get too deep into this, but I just wanted to get something. The National Security Act. Let me try that. Let me see. 19 Security Act of 1947. That means Public Law 235, July 26, 1947. An act to promote national security by providing a security Secretary of Defense for a national defense establishment for the Department of the Army. Let me see. Because, whether you realize it or not, man, this word is a threat to Esau's society. And that's how he's going to deem it. He's going to deem it as a threat because we're standing out against him. Who shall lead me to the strong city? Let me get that real quick. Wait, who shall lead me to Edom? Something like that. Oh, here it is. Psalms 60 and 9. It says, who shall bring me into the strong city? Who will lead me into Edom? Oh, wait, you know what? It's actually more to that. Let me finish that. Psalms 60 and 9. It says, who will lead me into the strong city? Who will bring me into the strong city? Who will lead me into Edom? Will not thou, O power, which has cast us off, and thou, O power, which didst not go out with our armies, give us help from trouble, for vain is the help of men. Through the Most High we shall do valiantly, for he it is that shall tread down our enemies. So who is going to lead us to the strong city? Who is stirring us up against the enemy, the Esau, Edom? Who's stirring us up to these devils? The Lord is. He's stirring our spirits up. And that's what brings me to this precept. Job 17 and 8. It says, upright men shall be astonished at this, and the innocent shall stir up himself against the hypocrite. And the Lord is the one that's stirring us up against these devils, man. That's raising us up. Jeremiah 1 and 4. It says, then the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. So the Lord set up prophets to He stir up his prophets to go speak against the kings, man. Real quick, another precept. Jeremiah 28:8. It says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence. And America's no different. We're telling you about war. World War III is going to happen. We're telling you about evil. All of these things that's going to come upon America, of martial law, EMP. It's going to be blackouts. It's going to be a famine. There's going to be evil. There's going to be people breaking into houses. The military is going to be trying to, throwing people into FEMA camps, which is where they have a mass amount of what they call them. They have a lot of FEMA caskets, that can hold 5, 6, probably 10 bodies, man. These concentration camps, they're all throughout America. They're gonna roll on us, man. They're gonna roll on the inhabitants of America and kill them and put them in concentration camps and put that MOTB in them, man. This is gonna happen. This is the evil that's gonna happen. It says in a pestilence, because it's gonna be a lot of diseases that's gonna be running rapid too. Verse 9, the prophet which prophesied of peace, when the word of the prophet shall come to pass, then shall the prophet be known that Yahweh had truly sent him. And the only way peace is going to come is when Yahweh Shai takes over. That's the only time peace is going to be on the earth. So, the Patriot Act really deems everybody a terrorist. He makes everybody a threat to the society, man. And I can't find the exact thing that I was looking for. I thought it was called the National Security Act. I thought this was it, but I'm gonna have to Lord willing do some more research on it. This wasn't really a part of the lesson, or I would have researched it before I started the lesson. But Esau has a lot of things in the books like this that really make it frame it mischief by law. The reason why I went into this, because that's what Esau does. He frames mischief by law. He makes it a law for him to do things that you can't do, because he's above the law, and he's a fucking hypocrite on top of that. I need the actual document when it states, everything that's consistent in the document. Because under some of these acts that Esau has passed, he has the right to take all your shit. But if you don't comply with him, he ultimately is going to put you to death anyways. That brings me to this real quick. First Maccabees chapter 1, get to the point. Verse 44, it says, for the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they shall profane the Sabbath and festival days. This is a framing mischief by law. I'm going to jump down to verse 50. It says, and whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said, should die. So if you don't want to, it's the same applies today. If you don't want to follow after Esau's MOTB, you're ultimately going to be put to death by way of guillotine. Let's go to the book of Revelation chapter 13, the point of this lesson. And I'm going to start at verse 15 because I want to get to the point. It says in Revelation 13 and 15, And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So the image of the beast represents the whole system. If you're not trying to follow the system that he's setting up, because that system is ultimately going to lead you to what? Taking the MOTB, taking that thing in your right hand or your forehead. So if you're not following the system that he's setting up, which he's doing it now with the CBDCs, so if you're not trying to follow the system that he's setting up, then you ultimately are going to be killed. So because the system is going to lead you to being a part of the system. You're going to be in the system once it's fully established if you don't rebel against it, man. So let's read that again. Revelations 13:15. He had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And that no man might buy or sell, because of what? Esau is going to crash his economy, and he's going to set up this MOTB, which is going to be the new currency. That thing that goes in your right hand or your forehead, that's going to be what all your money goes to. Is everything is going to be centralized. Everything is going to be centralized through these C to the H to the I to the P to the S. Everything is going to be centralized through that. That's going to be your new everything. So it's going to be like a new currency, a new a key for your house, a key for your car, and a control device for the they can monitor your every move. They can know exactly what you're spending your money on. They can limit how much money you get every month, which is bullshit within itself. This system is gonna be complete slavery, man. It says, "Save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 603 So 666. Now, when you look at 666 in the Hebrew, forgive me, in the Greek, it takes you to. I keep going to Revelation 22. I don't know why I keep doing that. Maybe it's a precept back there the Lord trying to tell me to get. If it is, it'll come to me. Let's go to Revelations 13:18. Let's go down to the Greek for 603. Now, when you look at it, it's the pronunciation is chi, psi, stigma. Now, what we're going to focus on is that word stigma. Now, let's go get a quick definition for stigma. It says, a mark made on skin by burning with a hot iron. From Latin, stigma, plural stigmata. From Greek, stigma, point, a mark of a pointed instrument. Puncture. Because what is that mark going to do? It's going to puncture. What is that device, that stake, that pail is going to do? It's going to puncture your skin and insert something inside of you that is going to control you and everything that you do. It's a carnal thing. It's a fleshly thing. To stick, pointed. It's something that actually goes inside of you. It says figurative, meaning a mark of disgrace, and that's exactly what it is. Because the Lord told you not to take it. And this is going to be mandatory that everybody have it. So what is that? Mischief framed by law. That's what that is. Mischief framed by law. Okay, it says, what the hell? Why does it keep? Okay, it says in English from 1610, stigmas, marks resembling the wounds of the body of Hamashiach, appearing supernatural on the bodies of the devout. Now, the marks on Yahweh's body, are they spiritual? No, they are physical marks. So that lets you know stigma or stigmas or stigmata is something that is fleshly. You know, it's something that deals with your actual flesh, your body. Why does it keep doing that? Okay. Damn shit about to piss me off. Okay, it says stigma. It says a mark of disgrace associated with a particular circumstance, quality, or person. Or person. Just like a woman, because the stigma can also be something that, you know, is a quality of somebody. Like if a woman's she acts a certain way, Esau don't want the stigma of being the Edomite. You know, he don't want that stigma on him. It's like a characteristic. He doesn't want that stigma on him of being an Edomite because he knows that he has tricked the world into believing his bullshit, his lies. It's like a woman has the stigma of being a slut. She has a stigma. She has a reputation of being a slut. It says the stigma of bankruptcy, shame, disgrace. Sorry about stigma. But in this case, what we are dealing with is the actual physical stigma, something that goes into your flesh. Because see, it says a visible sign or characteristic of a disease. It says a mark or spot on the skin. So, okay, it says down here in the origin, it says late 16th century, denoting a mark made by a pricking or branding. Via Latin from Greek stigma, a mark made by a pointed instrument. So it's, you know, you have people out here that's saying that it's this and it's that, you know, but we understand that the RFID micro CHIP is the mark of the BEAST. Okay, now when you go down to the Strong's definition for Chi-Psi stigma, Chi-Psi stigma, it says the 22nd, 14th in the obsolete letter, Greek Strong's G4742, which I have that, of the Greek alphabet estimate, intermediate between the 5th and 6th, used as the numbers denoting respectively 66 and 6, which is 666. So, and I'm gonna get more proof on that. Let's go to this word right here. This word right here is from the Greek stigma, which means to prick, a mark pricked in or branded upon the body, which is going to be what? That MOTB, that CHIP. That's what Esau finna establish. He's already setting up his CBDC banking system, and next is going to be the CHIP, Lord willing. Okay, this scripture is in Galatians 6 and 17. Now this is the actual, it says from henceforth let no man trouble me, for I bear in my body the marks of the Lord of the Lord Yahushua. So that word marks goes back to the Greek word stigma, which is an actual fleshly thing. Now it says Strong's definition: stigma, from a primitive to stick, a mark, insist, or punched for recognition of ownership, figuratively a scar of service mark. And that's exactly what Esau is finna do. He's finna make you his slaves, man. Salakia. He's finna make you his slave. Okay, when you go down to the Greek lexicon, it says from Latin stigulus, to sting, a mark printed in or branded upon the body. So if you can't see that, man, there's something wrong with you. All right, let's go over here. Let's go back here. Let's see. What the hell? All that bullshit that just popped up. Okay, stigma. A mark of shame or discredit. Plural usually stigmata, an identifying mark or characteristic. Right. That's what I meant by, she has the stigmata of a slut. She has the characteristics of a slut. That's used plurally, but we're talking about, an actual mark inside your flesh. It describes a characteristic of a woman that sleeps with a lot of men. That's what the stigmata is. Characteristic. It says, okay, it says 3. Stigmata, plural, bodily marks or pains resembling the wounds of the crucified Jesus, and sometimes implying religious ecstasy. Okay, stigma was borrowed from the Latin stigma meaning mark, brand, and ultimately comes from the Greek meaning to tattoo. Izine, forgive me. So let's go where I had. Here it is. Now, right before I started this lesson, I looked up the number, as you can see at the top, numerical value of Greek letters, and I looked, and it says, look at 600, and it says what? Chai. And I look at 60, and it says 5. Chai Sai, which is 60. And what is the last one? Stigma, 6. Chai Sai Stigma, 666. 600. You add that up, and what you get? 666. So this thing is really, because when you look up the word, look up the word 6. It's where you get the word sex, which means to cut. If I'm not mistaken, let's see. Okay, so it's the origin from Old English 6, CX, 6, of Greek of Germanic origin, related to Dutch zest and German sex, from its Indo-European root shared by Latin sex and Greek hex. And when you look up the word sex, it just means to cut. That means it's a fleshly thing. I thought I seen something up about his sex. Okay, it says 1 more than 5, twice 3, the number, which is 1 more than 5, a symbol representing this number. Old English 6, CX, 6, Siox, and sex, from Proto-Germanic sex. Let's see what is from Old Phoenician. Forgive me, I'm saying that wrong. It means sex, Middle Dutch sex, which when you look up the word sex, it means to cut. Sex. It says to divide or cut. Funny. And when you go down here, it says the same thing. does sex, us, go back to when S represents sex, to cut up. And what is that? What is that? That stigma, that stigma gonna do? It's gonna cut into your flesh. Now, this is all of these things I just searched right before I did this lesson, so it's fresh on my brain. Lord willing, this is edifying. Just, you have a lot of people that's saying it's not the MOTB when it is. The MOTB is not the CHIP, but it really is. Now, this is the Hebrew equivalent. Oh, you know what? I'm on the wrong Bible. This is the Hebrew equivalent of the word stigma. We was just going to the Greek. Now, this is the Hebrew. Leviticus 19:28. Let me go to it. The Hebrew word there is kwai. Okay, kwai. Okay, it says an incision, an imprinted tattoo mark. Now, what does the scripture says? It says, ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am Yahweh. So if you take that MOTB, you are in violation of this law. You are in violation of the scriptures. It says, now when you go to the Greek lexicon, it says kwai. Stigma, a mark branded on the skin. So it goes this word kwai, Hebrew word kwai, goes back to the Greek word stigma. Because remember, it says, let me see, kwai. It says this is the group. This is the Genius Hebrew Chaldee lexicon, and it takes it back to the word what? Stigma. So if you take the MOTB, you're violating the scriptures, and you're ultimately against the Lord. And the Lord is going to destroy you if you take it. I got Leviticus, I got Galatians, I got Revelations. Now let's go to Ezekiel chapter 9 verse 4, because this right here is something. This is not a fleshly mark. Forgive me. Slip of the tongue. Forgive me. Ezekiel. Where's Ezekiel? Ezekiel 9:4. Ezekiel 9:4. And Yahweh said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark. That's a spiritual thing, upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. Now let's go to that word mark in the Hebrew. This is the mark that you want, not the stigma. Because the stigma is a mark of disgrace. This is a mark of exemption from judgment. And let's go to this. The elders go to this, have explained this many times, but you got idiots out there. So this is the Hebrew word dawah, which means desire, mark, or mark as a sign of exemption from judgment. So it's very clear. It's very clear. A mark on the forehead, sign of exemption from judgment. It's that simple. So this is not a fleshly mark. This is a spiritual mark. This is the mark that you want. An exemption from judgment. Because, the elect are not going to partake in the judgment of Yahweh B'Shem Shah when he comes down, having great wrath upon the inhabitants of Babylon the Great. They're going to be destroyed by thermonuclear fire. So let's go to Revelations 14. That's what happens if you take the stigma. Revelations 14, or the charagma, which that word charagma goes back to the word karak, which means a propel or a stake. It's the proof is in the pudding, man. The Lord put the spirit on the elders to break it down, and we believe it, man, because we can see it. Revelations 14:9. And the third angel followed them, saying, with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his right hand on his forehead. So if you worship the beast, you follow his system, and you ultimately follow that system, and that system calls you to take his C to the H to the I to the P, this is going to happen. Forgive me. Verse 10. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. That means you're going to be burnt with thermonuclear fire, with thermonuclear missiles, and the laser. And some people going to get burnt with them lasers too, man. But ultimately, they're going to die because of the missiles. Revelations 14:10. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. What is that? Nuclear destruction. So if you take that MOTB, you're going to eat a missile, man. You're going to eat a missile. Verse 11, and the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, and there was no rest, day or nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Now, forever and ever is not talking about forever. It just means a long period of time. So America's going to be burning for a long period of time. And, you know, after the Lord hit it with the nuclear missiles. And this is when Yahushua is going to set up his kingdom once he overthrow Babylon the Great. Because America's going to be overthrown with fire. This is the portion of the wicked. Let's go to Psalms 11 and verse 5. It says, Yahweh tried the righteous, but the wicked are in him that loveth violence, his soul hateth. The Lord hates Esau because what? Esau loves violence, man. His soul hateth Esau because the Lord hates Esau because he loves violence, man. Verse 6, upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire and brimstone. What is that? The nuclear missiles, man. Upon the wicked. The scripture says the Lord reserved him for the day of evil. Let me see this. Which is the day the Lord gonna bring them missiles. Let's get that real quick. Because the Lord reserved these devils for that day. Proverbs 16:4. It says, Yahweh hath made all things for himself. Yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. Which is what? The day that the Lord bring destruction upon Edom. The day that the Lord caused those missiles to be shot and destroy America. So the Lord reserved these devils for what? Fire and brimstone. The same way the Lord took out Sodom and Gomorrah is the same way the Lord is going to take out America, which is with what? Fire and brimstone. But this is going to be by way of missiles. Psalms 11 and 6. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire and brimstone, in a horrible tempest. Because what happens when those missiles hit? That word tempest means a strong wind. So when those missiles hit, they send out a destroying wind, like it says in Jeremiah 51:1. Destroying wind shall come upon Babylon, something to that effect. I'm going to get it real quick. It says, this shall be the portion of their cup. This is their cup, man. This is what you devils going to get. You're going to reap what you sow. You drop that bomb, them 2 bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and you're going to receive the same. You're going to receive that same judgment. What was I going to get? Damn it. I lost my train of thought. Damn, I got to get out of Babylon, man. Lord willing to come back to me. Damn it. I lost my train of thought. What was I going to get? It shall be the portion of their cup. Fire and brimstone. Oh, man, I don't remember. Damn it. Lord willing to come back to me, man. I lost my train of thought. Psalms 11. Let me read it again. Hopefully, it's tricky something. Psalms 11 and 5. It says, Jehovah tried the righteous, but the wicked, him that loveth violence, his soul hateth. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire and brimstone. And there you go. The water Yahweh Shemel Shah. I had to read that again and remember. Jeremiah 51. Was it 50? Yes, 51. Jeremiah 51:1. Thus said Yahweh, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me a destroying wind. That's a literal destroying wind. It's because when those missiles hit, they're going to send a destroying wind in all directions, man. And all you got to do, an example of that, is look up a nuclear detonation. You will see the heavens roll as a stroll, and you'll see everything that's close or by that detonation is knocked the fuck over, man. It's destroyed because of that destroying wind. So the Lord is going to blast America off the face of the earth. That's a literal blast. He's going to destroy it with fire. So with that, man, Lord, we you brothers edified with this lesson, man, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shah. America is going to be destroyed by Babylon. Do not take the MOTB. Do not take the charagma, which is the C to the H to the I to the B. The P, Salakia. Do not take the micro CHIP. You know, stay faithful to Yahweh Shemel Shah. And I'm going to close out with a precept. Proverbs 3:5. Trust in Yahweh with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Be not wise in thine own eyes, fear Yahweh, and depart from evil. Because Esau's finna set it up. He's setting it up right now as we speak. And things gonna get a little rough. It's gonna get rough out here, man. But guess what? We got Yahweh Shemel Shah, so the Lord is not gonna leave us defenseless. He's not gonna leave us high and dry, man. Sirach chapter 2, verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Jumping down to verse 10. Look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded? Or did ever any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? None. So that, like the scripture says, the things that are written aforetime were written for our learning. Romans 15:4. So the things that are written in the books of the gospel and all the other books are for our learning. That we can learn to trust more in Yahweh Shemel Shah, even in the times of trouble. That's when we need to trust him the most. You know, we're going to be fully dependent upon Yahweh Shemel Shah. And that's all we need. All we need is the Lord, man. Luke 1:37 says the Lord can do anything, so. And it also says in Isaiah 65 that the Lord is going to feed us and he's going to give us drink. So, hey, we ain't got nothing to worry about. Trust in the Lord, because Esau going to cut off all the food unless you take his MOTB. And then he's still a devil, man. That's everything that the devil offers you come with a price, man. So with that, man, just keep that in mind. With that, I'm going to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Al-Shah, Ba'ashem, Kakodash. Double honors to the apostles and to the elders of Millstone. With peace, love, and salutations to all the brothers on this work and truth and sincerity. I want to say shalom. Kom yashallah. Wa ababa wa abadadawam. Shalom. Hey, Lord willing, let you brothers and sisters, you Akim and Akwatium was edified with this lesson. Once again, Salakia for, some of the information I didn't have queued up. It is all through the spirit, So with that, I'm going to just say shalom.